is Audio Mullet, and I'm Doug Tenaple. I'm here with my buddy, Ethan Nicole.
Hey. Good morning.
You're looking shaggy in your bathrobe.
Yeah, wearing the old fuzzy bathrobe sitting in my garage.
You look like a young Orson Welles.
Is that when he was going downhill, or I don't know? He had a tragic.
Yeah, he was going downhill after he was 26, pretty much. He was on his way to obscurity and doing magic tricks on Merv Griffin and wine commercials.
I feel like I'm starting to look like the grandpa from Troll 2. You ever seen Troll 2?
No, that is so obscure, and so that's like me going, you look like the grip on Ghoulies.
Troll 2 is a hugely famous movie.
I feel like I'm really missing out. I'm just here watching all this cultural trash. I'm just reading Moby Dick. This cultural garbage. I didn't have time to scoop up Trolls 2, which everyone talks about Trolls 2. You have to know about Trolls 2, right? To be a cool geek, the direct-to-video Branscombe market.
Yeah.
Got to be all into Trolls 2 and the documentary.
Troll 2. It's not Trolls 2. It's not
Troll 2.
It's not the little toys with their bare butts showing.
I'm even terrible that I don't even know the title.
Well, you can say what you want. Troll
and
2
The Room. Everyone's got to talk about The Room. You got to quote The Room. When I was in college, it was Monty Python's Holy Grail, and now everyone's talking about The Room.
Different. I think they have a different category.
But nowadays, if you didn't watch Holy Grail, people wouldn't know what you're talking about. If you really want to be cool with the hipsters, you got to talk about The Room.
I love how a guy who's such a huge fan of Star Wars is chastising me for being part of being into something a group of people like.
I'm only semi-huge fan of Star Wars.
Okay. You just see every movie and talk about it.
I do. I have seen every movie. You have not seen every movie. You didn't see Last Jedi?
No. I don't think I saw the last two. I don't know what else was there.
Force Awakens.
I don't think I saw that. The last one I saw was the
Black Stormtrooper.
I saw the one where like Han Solo comes back and he's old, and he's the dad.
That's
he's
Force
the dad
Awakens.
of the
That's
guy,
the one.
the dad of the emo guy.
That's the one, and he dies. That's the that's Force Awakens.
I saw that one. Vaguely remember it, and I saw that Rogue One.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. I really liked that one.
I didn't really.
You didn't really?
Meh.
So you're to Force Awakens and Rogue One as I am to Trolls 2.
Troll 2, yeah.
Troll 2. Who's the bigger idiot?
Well, if Troll 2 made constant remakes and rehashes, I doubt that I would be on board, but whatever.
Well, yeah. But okay, so you respect it because they set... Well, Troll 2 is a rehash.
Troll 2 is the unique thing about Troll 2, I don't know how we got on this, but is that it's just such a uniquely badly made movie that was so sincerely attempted by a Italian director who believed so strongly that he knew American culture, and he had these actors from this small town in Utah act his script that like was written in broken English.
But that's The Room also. So you guys are all racist against these foreigners coming in.
Yeah, that's what Birdemic.
Making fun of them. Making fun of them for not knowing the language.
It's not that they don't. It's not. That's what's funny is they're confident. I think that's what most comedy is. If you're like complete confidence in a thing you cannot accomplish, I think that's where a lot of comedy comes from. But that's what was the action one of the guy? He's in his car a bunch of the times that Branscombe did. It was an action guy also who was real super confident of the movies he made, and they were really bad action movies. I remember him in a car with like a computer in a car. No. I don't know.
He was really into himself. That was another one.
Like he made his own movies?
Yeah. Really bad, made his own action movie. It's like all of them, in a way, all these. Yeah. I was telling my assistant about Robert Rodriguez, when he started his whole movie career with El Mariachi. Mm-hmm. He was just making kind of a bad direct-to-video movie for Mexico.
Yeah.
and Hollywood ended up discovering him, because he made this kind of grindy, tiny El Mariachi movie, and they had all this respect for him and just pumped him right into Hollywood. But that was another guy, just a foreigner, just trying to make a for the direct-to-video market, and then it ends up exploding something huge.
I think it's the funny thing about Troll 2 also is that it sat for like 17 years, and then suddenly it kind of got discovered, and probably because of the internet, it's outspread. And it got this huge following, and suddenly all the people that worked on it are getting called up and brought out to all these events, and it's just fascinating to me. I don't know. There's a documentary about it that I love called Best Worst Movie, which I remember you watching and not liking.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I get it. I'm just not as into it. You're just into it like Star Wars.
No, it's not like Star Wars.
Analogy.
No. It's one movie.
But you're into it.
It's a thing I like. I'm not going to buy all the toys. I'm not going to talk about it constantly with people for hours. I'm already getting tired. And I'm not.
You're tired of talking about Troll 2?
And I would not be thrilled if Disney bought the rights and started making endless Troll 2 knockoffs. I would not want that.
But that's what I mean, would it be popular?
I don't want any more. It's great as it is. It was enjoyable. No more.
If it was popular to rant about it, if Disney picked it up, you wouldn't jump on that bandwagon and start ranting that Disney is ruining the Troll 2 legacy by making these glossy, beautiful. That's what people are doing with Star Wars. Is
that what you want to talk about? You had a vague idea for a topic this episode. We're kind of freewheeling it here.
No, this is the topic. I'm talking about cultural programming of masses, of tribes.
Like, we're like told what we have to get upset about and talk about, and like it almost feels like the conversation gets steered in these stupid directions.
Yeah,
Star Wars
it's like culture is feeding us both cue cards of what we shall say and not say about something, and you will find a tribe and you'll fit within it, and you'll all say the same thing about it.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed. We talked to Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, on the Babylon Bee podcast this week. He's one of those guys who doesn't fit any. He really tries. I don't know. He thinks differently than a lot of people. He's quirky.
He does, but I hate him too.
I figure.
I just hate everyone. I do like him because he's a cartoonist. I love Dilbert. I do like that he predicted Trump would win before anyone else, and but at the same time, he's got that libertarian feel to him. This, I'm above all this. He's a master hypnotist, a wordsmith manipulator, and I'm just going, Scott. You want to come on my show and talk about pizza?
It's not so much the values or even the ideas. It's just I like when somebody just doesn't say what you expect.
Well, I just wonder if my programming to hate him is also part of my tribe to prove that I'm above everything. So that might be my tribe, is just to dismantle everything. So anyone who stakes out any claim, even the counter stakes or the original guys, I go, nah, he's a fraud too.
That could be my tribe, is that it's like to always like people that break the mold.
The outliers.
Yeah.
The true independents.
The Troll 2s of people.
The I'm not in either party guys.
Yeah.
Who are their own guys. That's how I see all of the never Trumpers too. They're like, no, we're this tribe. We're the old school libertarian, or classic liberal, they might say. The Buckleys. We're the Buckleys. And I'm like going, you're just in another tribe. You're another groupthink. Or the Edmund Burke, versus John Locke, the Lockeans. And they all slot in with their philosopher. That's all the internet has done, is given us more cue cards for how we shall act.
Well, part of that's just you need some reference points to. You don't want to have to start from scratch every time you talk to somebody and be like, I don't know, lay out your entire philosophy. Maybe? I don't know.
Tribalism is a legit thing, though, right? Because we all want to belong to a group and kind of...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Like we're all saying, I'm one of you, I'm one of you. Let me come up with my witty take on the situation, and I'll add to it. like Hillary, she's this, or we shall all hate Sean Hannity, or we shall all, I see it in the impeachment hearings, like, who changed their mind after evidence came out? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a man on the right, and I know Trump is right. I know he's correct, and I know everyone who comes at him for this impeachment thing is a fraud. I know that. How can I know that? I
don't know. That's a lot to know. I'm impressed.
That's a lot to know. I also already know that on both sides, the people who wanted Trump impeached will not change. Not one of them will change their mind after this whole trial. And all of my buddies on the right, who are all correct, none of them will change one iota of our position of this impeachment is just trying to undermine a democracy because they wanted to impeach him before they even heard one piece of evidence. So it's a mock trial. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Why even conduct an impeachment hearing when everyone's already decided?
Yeah. Well, because that's what and they're actually trying to accomplish impeachment, I assume, but I don't know. I'm amazed it took this long to get to it. From day one, people were saying there's a huge movement to impeach Trump. They've just been looking for a reason.
Yeah, and they found this is like the fourth reason. Mm-hmm. And when this one's done, they'll come up with something else to try to impeach him because they want, this is the ends justify the means. They know he has to be out first.
Well, there's this bizarre idea on the left right now that Trump's going to demand to stay in office forever and not get out. Like he's going to glue himself to the seat in the Oval Office and refuse to leave, and that'll somehow work. It's like,
I remember how the right. Do you remember when the right said this? The right said the same thing about Obama.
Did they?
Remember that?
I remember that, but who knows? We're always
they said,
so
I'll bet
paranoid.
He does some presidential order and gets a third term.
Yeah.
It's paranoia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite silly. Like what's he going to do? He's going to stand there and fold his arms?
For a third term. He's going to announce a third term.
And this term
they all say it.
It's a 40-year term until death.
And then they all repeat it. And then our side, we all make fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, then you flip over and there we go. Yeah, I remember the paranoia around Obama was insane. When you look back.
Yeah.
When you look back on how things really went and some of the things people said, it's like, man, and I guess that's another example of this kind of thing. Like we just kind of get this, we get these social cue cards to get on board. If you aren't freaked out enough, and if you aren't, I guess, woke in whatever direction the woke is, then you're a danger to the tribe. I don't know if we're talking these tribal terms, but it's weird. Yeah, it's like a virtue signal. You have to signal that you're on board with all this freaking out or whatever.
Yeah, so don't all of the I'm above both parties, do they not also have their own tribe? Aren't they all saying the same thing? I'm above both parties. I'm not a party guy. I think for myself. That's what our cue cards tell us to say.
I guess. I don't know. It depends where there's some people that are really wrapped up in the parties, and I think you can have kind of like we talked about in a recent episode, words that don't actually mean anything. Tribalism is often used as a bad word, and it's not always bad to be part of a tribe. The tribe's right.
Yeah, we all want to belong to something. So bring this to the church. This is the bride of Christ. Mm-hmm. I've got nothing but respect for the charter, for the idea of it. But what ends up happening in the church is, aren't we all honky Americans expressing ourselves in kind of Baptist light forms of church with the big screen? A guy goes up, exposits the scripture. We sit there on Sunday morning for an hour and no more. This is worship time. Mm-hmm. This is preachy time. shake hands time, greet time, and then leave time. Then probably eat a big lunch time.
Eat bagels.
Yeah, and I wonder how much that looks like the first century church.
Yeah.
Meeting 13 people in a house, probably under, maybe even house arrest or something, and they don't have 5 printed Bibles in their home. They have a few letters that they transcribed, chunks of scripture to study.
But they probably wished that they had what we have now. They were like, hey,
they wish they had what we had now.
We got to work our way there.
All that they were really wishing for is that they would all line up along their tribe to have the same opinion about the Sonic trailer, the new Sonic trailer. It's what they were really wishing for all along.
I lost you there you were like talking really slow because it's like I'm getting a bad connection.
Yeah, that's our Skype connection. Yeah. So ignore it because the actual audio is still.
Yeah, the actual audio will be good, devices. But I hope the timing is still on. We'll see once we put them together. So you might want to, just to be safe, repeat your last line there about.
Yeah, the timing on the record will be the same because our personal recordings are still lined up, even though Skype might be all over the place.
That's true. That's true.
Our feedback that we're getting could be wrong.
All right.
Well, we can do another clap.
No, just keep it going. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm just saying what the first century church is really wishing for is that they would have what we have, which it could be an antecedent or just some form of it that ends up being, you end up all lining up with your own opinion of the Sonic trailer. With your cue cards is what uniting us in this giant honky American culture under the internet, where we're getting fed about our tribe to reconnect us to each other through our screens. And we get our news all fed down to us.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying, though, because I'm watching the anti-Trumpers, they have their own culture. And it's kind of a cold indifference to everything because they have these facts. And by the way, they also tend to be, I read this all the way back to Jefferson, with a belief in just a deist, just a clockwork God who stands back and wound things up. That kind of a cold distance is also in there. George Will, Jonah. I read a similar and brilliant. I do think they're brilliant, but there's kind of it's like a lack of humanity, the sloppiness of humanity, which I think Trump really captured. The sloppy factory worker who just kind of lives and goes like, "Look, cut the crap. Let's win something."
Yeah.
Let's punch back and win using TV.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know that for me, it's like it's just, I don't know. I get so worn out on talking about it.
Yeah.
I think it's the having to be all in, and it's like, see, we're validated. Trump did good stuff, and so be on the Trump team. Where's your red hat? That kind of thing.
So. I don't own a red hat,
but it has that feeling to it, like I need to be all excited about it. And to me, it's still depressing. Like, yeah, it's great that Hillary didn't win and that we didn't get more liberal justices. That's a huge win. But
yeah,
culturally, we're still careening.
The churches losing their 501c3 status,
their
charity
good
status.
But we're still like careening down a hill, I believe. I mean, still, I don't think Trump is a good omen for our times or for the future. I think it's a bad precedent. I still think that the response from the Democrats will be to try to be as Trumpy as they can be, which is not going to be good. And the right will double down on being Trumpy because if he's worked, then they're going to have, people are going to be trying to. I think it's just going to get uglier. Because if being like that wins, then it's going to get ugly. And I actually think Trump is more well equipped to be that way.
Yeah, he's a man of our times, and he's a winner of our times. And guys like Romney and McCain were losers of our times.
Mm-hmm.
They cost you judges. They cost you freedoms because they did it, quote unquote, right.
Mm-hmm. No, and I know that Trump is a response to the stale fake politics. Where it feels like they're all just saying what you want to hear, and they're kind of this elite class. They're just talking down to us.
Flaccid conservatism.
Yeah,
because kind of the Tea Party was coming out and getting all crunchy.
I think people saw them as in the same group and in the same clique as Democrat politicians. Like, they're this class, and they're kind of all trying to tell us what they think we want to hear. And then Trump pops out of nowhere. They hate him, and a lot of us just love him just for that. Just the fact that the Romneys and the Hillarys of the world hate Trump. That's enough to get a lot of us excited about him.
But he was also at war with the flaccid conservatism because he goes like, Jeb, low energy Jeb.
Yeah.
Low energy Jeb. And I'm going, there's no way this name calling garbage is going to work on the American people. I mean, this is Jeb Bush. This is the guy. This is the golden boy that my party picked. I guess he's going to be our guy. He's like, low energy Jeb. You're a loser. You're low energy. and everyone started jumping on with a game show host.
I found it so weird when Trump started picking up steam. I could not understand it at all. I was like, what is going on here? So weird.
That was his forgotten man speech. It was the forgotten man felt like these factory workers, many of them Democrats, who just said, we're tired of losing. We feel like we're being ground up and nobody cares and nobody's listening. And the game show host is listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fighting back. Yeah. He's getting that low energy Jeb guy.
And that's the thing. A lot of politicians, it seems, they have their agenda, but they try to tell you what you want to hear. And Trump, I don't know what his agenda actually is,
I have
except
no idea.
to be liked. And so he seems...
he definitely is into him being president.
Yeah. So it is interesting. He is one of the first presidents where I really feel like he isn't... He's just trying to do what he told everybody he's going to do. Like, he wants to prove he can do that, which in itself is like, wow. It's so rare. It's so bizarre.
He's going to bring back jobs.
Like, I don't know that he really cared that much about coal or religious liberty or any of this stuff, but...
Oh, no. Yeah. Or abortion or whatever. But he was given this list, but he was dumb enough to follow the actual list that was given to him.
Yeah.
Was it from like the Hoover Institution
he wasn't
or something
just saying
of judges?
it. He was just, weird.
So a real smart guy would come in and go, no, we can't go for that list.
Mm-hmm. I
got to get my person in there.
Yeah.
And he doubled down on the list, and he did it. Mm-hmm. So that's about as good of a news as I can ever expect from politics.
Yeah.
What was going to be better?
No, I agree. I don't of the choices.
I think George Will voted for Hillary and Bill.
Or the whole conversation of this episode is like about stuff for culture. Like, we just like went off on one of the rabbit trails we were talking about.
Yeah, and I'm just reading from my cue cards. I'm just reading from what was given to me, okay? I do not have an original thought rolling around in my head. Nothing we've said here is original.
What I hate the most about all this is that I feel like there's groups of people I feel like I can't talk to. Like, just the left. Yeah. I mean, anybody in Hollywood on the left. I mean, anybody who... there's just this...
those are some of our friends and some of our employers, and they're psycho.
Yeah, or even when you just don't know. Like, unless somebody wears their politics on their sleeve, you're horrified to bring it up. I just hate that air of fear to not just be out with it and just be like, none of us want to kill each other. We all want to, we don't want to go to civil war.
We all basically love each other. We basically love each other.
We respect the idea that we're all going to share this country. Okay, with that out of the way, why don't we just talk about the stuff we disagree on? Well, a lot of times when you talk with us, you find that you're much closer on things than you think you are.
Yeah.
And we can't have that conversation. I think that's one of the worst things ever. I hate that.
There is a small percentage of people, as if you looked across the great, the spread of the people we know, there is a percentage of leftists that if they knew that you believed what you believed, they do not want you to work.
Yeah.
They don't want you to raise your kids.
Yeah.
And there's got to be people on the right that think, if you're not willing to fight, then get out of my way.
Yep.
Because it's time to fight, and we're going to lose all of our liberty. So you're just another Chamberlain. You're just another appeaser to go along and get along. That's where we're stuck.
And I think these people like that see the future as one of the parties wins and defeats the other one. Like that's where they think we're going to go. It's going to be one or the other. So you have to pick a side.
Yeah. But that is true. That is a true category of politics. Politics is I assume it doesn't have to be secular, but I assume it's our secular democracy of someone's going to win. So that is the place where you win in politics, is when it comes to the vote. That is where someone's going to win. So you go over in that little category and you cast your vote as someone who is for or against some political theory. And then you just leave it there. Like you just vote.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get why. It doesn't have to be all encompassing. Well, I spent a year off of Facebook. I basically have been off Facebook for a year because I was just kind of going like, how's this going to help my business, my comics business of getting the word out? I'm going to go over to Twitter. So I went over to Twitter, and I was an a-hole for a year of, brutal, angry politicking and getting all these fights. Even among comics creators, the comics creators are all split and angry, and who's this and who's that, and who will work for who. And I work with some leftists, who I pay, and they do some work for me. And I work with mostly right-wingers or conservatives or Christians who are helping me with my stuff. I have a couple atheists on, or whatever. But then I go back to Facebook after a year, and Facebook turned into Twitter. Everything is like, my right-wingers are all like, pro-Trump, anti-Hillary memes. Like, isn't she still stupid and fat? And and the other paranoia is like, she's going to get back in. Hillary's going to get back in because the left has all these terrible candidates. She's going to get back in. So suddenly on my Facebook now is all pro-Trump, anti-Trump, bad memes. They just plaster up. They got them from somewhere else. Like we're turning gross.
Yeah. Totally.
And we used to be united by Star Wars. We used to be united by sports. It used to be like, hey, let's watch a football game. And now it's like, nope, this guy would not bow. And now we're going to bring Twitter to sports. And Star Wars, we used to all be like, hey, yay, it's robots and Wookiees and lightsabers. And now it's like, what is Disney going to do to the license of Star Wars if they have a gay couple kiss?
For me,
the
it's
Marvel
not that.
universe had all the.
I'm exhausted with
the feminism.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm
Marvel,
fine with.
They gotta.
Because there's also a place for all this stuff, right? There's a place for Star Wars movies. I'm fine with people having them and watching it. Like, I don't want to stop it. I joke about wanting to stop it, but if everybody's enjoying it, I'm fine with it being there. And kind of the same with political memes. Like, we should have there should be a space where it's safe to just like make all the jokes you want about candidates and about all that stuff and about the other side. I think we all need to have our values about that. But
yeah,
so that on the flip side of it, I think there's you should be able to joke. But that's the thing; people are so sensitive,
and people's jokes are so terrible.
Yeah.
They're stupid and they're just repeats of each other's heh. This joke, AOC, heh. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to go on. I have on my 5,000 Twitter, Facebook account. I don't want 100 memes going back and forth about AOC. So maybe we shouldn't say anything about politics and go back to it being private because it's so nauseating. It's so low.
I'd have to get a new job then because I don't think the Babylon Bee would succeed without.
I know you're the problem.
Part of the problem.
Look at you pumping your. And their material they put out is far more right wing and crunchy than you are.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
far more like AOC.
The funny thing is that a lot
I know you don't care.
Yeah, I know. I almost none of the AOC articles come from me, but the funny thing is a lot of them come from Kyle, and he also doesn't. He's not that.
He also doesn't care.
Yeah.
So he's feeding.
Yeah.
He's feeding the dragon.
Yeah.
These crunchy people who we finally got our right wing humor media of Babylon Bee. That's ours. That's on my side. Those are my people. And then to get those huge masses, you have to tell certain jokes about certain politics.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about it. I've learned from coming into it is like those are the jokes that drive the whole ship because they get the most.
And if you guys do too many
massive
anti-Trump jokes, does it undermine your largest media market?
They never do super well unless we hit just the right joke where it could be interpreted both ways. Like we have certain ones,
like him owning everybody,
or like
he owns it in a dumb way.
He did this, like where he did this, he's gloating about this trade deal he did with the Mexicans where he scores free chips and salsa for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, both sides like that one because it's on one side it seems like he's he's gloating about a thing we already had, and then the other one is that he's awesome at deals or whatever. I don't know, whatever it was, that one went huge. So ones that are a little lighter do good, but yeah, we also get the most hate mail for anything that is mocking Trump.
Yeah,
but we still mock him quite a bit.
Yeah,
those just don't go
make
big.
a living.
So and people see. What people see is the stuff gets shared like crazy, so it's always going to be the more partisan stuff that gets shared like crazy.
Yeah, the stuff that's more biting. Mm-hmm. Like I love all of your anti-abortion stuff, the biting stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, my people.
And I guess that's what I was getting at earlier when I was saying there should be a space for it. We should be able to make our jokes, within reason, right?
Everything is stupid. I hate everything, Ethan. That's my conclusion.
Yeah.
We're in a prison. We're in a media prison.
Yeah, I do.
Trying to look out.
I pretty much quit watching shows, which I need to just cancel. I guess my family watches them, but yeah, I was like hooked on watching all these Netflix and Amazon Prime shows, and now I'm not keeping up on anything. It's probably good.
Hey, I'm ready to dump Netflix and get that Disney Plus. Oh, yeah. Are you looking at that at all for your family? So far, I have
no appeal. I'm sure my family will want it, and we'll probably get it for them. But everything I'm hearing, it sounds like they're just they're like bringing like everything's a reboot of everything.
It's one of the that's for the new material. But I'm saying they have the world's largest classic library between Disney and Fox. They own every great movie, every great animated movie in the Disney history, every mediocre Disney Channel show. So how is Netflix going to compete with that? When Netflix, you know how you swipe right on like 99% of what's on Netflix. It is the bargain bin video. It's all Troll 2. It's like the less famous Trolls 2, Troll 2 movies. And then here you have Disney Plus with these pristine, amazing videos, but we're all kind of culturally indoctrinated into loving just YouTube garbage channels where we're just sitting on, you turn on a camera and it's two guys sitting there talking about Fortnite or whatever. Like that now, even I wonder if Disney Plus is the giant archive of great cinema of the past, like no one cares.
Maybe.
We all like McDonald's now. And this is like steak. The steak meal is presented. Like Disney Plus came too late.
I guess. I don't know. That's very positive. I'm surprised at how positive you are about a streaming service.
Yeah, I'm really, only because I'm thinking like, what do I want to watch? Like if I was, not that I watch anything because I'm too busy making comics, but if I was going to bring a family channel, to my children and my wife and everybody to watch together, I want the giant library of Fox and Disney in my house.
There's a lot of great stuff.
I've seen what Netflix offers.
Yeah.
It's
I
just,
guess I have this part of me
terrible.
that's yeah, it's sad because Netflix is one of the few services that's, well, I guess Prime is kind of too, but they're actually putting out a lot of new original stuff, but it's almost all garbage.
Yeah, but it's all garbage. Yeah. So, given what people watch, people are not watching. There's some big articles. Wait, let me read this cue card of what I'm supposed to read right now. Okay. It says that no one is watching those originals as much as they're watching just The Office and Big Bang Theory reruns.
Yeah.
So they're buying those for $100 million to justify their billion-dollar company because their new material is not capturing even their big streaming clients. Mm-hmm. So even Disney Plus, which I want to get it for the Mandalorian series, that's the new whatever Boba Fett
I know, which I don't get.
Star Wars trash. But I want to watch it. It looks good. It looks fun.
Mm-hmm. I have no interest.
I'm going to watch a new
zero interest in that.
Zero. Yeah, I'm sorry it's not Breaking Bad, a series about cooking meth. Which
Breaking Bad was a completely original series. It was actually amazing. Hey, Liza, and my daughter has awoken and she's here. My 4-year-old.
Well, good.
But she's fine.
We'll get some family time in.
A little family time.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
Do you want to sit with me?
Your little redhead girl.
I'm talking to Mr. Doug.
Show her Uncle Doug on the screen here.
I'm so surrounded. You forgot about him?
Yeah. I forgot about him. Hi, sweetheart. Uncle Doug has vanished from your life because now I just talk to Uncle Ethan over a tube. We just talk over a tube now. We don't, no hug, no handshake, no cigars together. We talk over a tube.
We're pixels.
We're pixels. That's all the humanity I get. I don't get my hug from your family.
Sorry for
I just look at
around
them on a flat screen. Hi, remember me? I'm your flat screen uncle.
She can't actually hear you because you're on my headphones.
Yeah, and you get to just see me on a video. You don't get to hear me. She's probably relieved.
Very tiny video, yeah. Anyway, well, she's just hovering behind me now. So.
Okay, we'll do something lighter.
Okay.
I was driving the kids to school.
Okay.
Which I every once in a while volunteer to do that to pretend to be a good dad. Driving the kids to school, and I realized on the way to school, I kind of had to go to the bathroom. And then we were like in all this traffic because Tennessee is exploding. Mm-hmm. Because all these big cities are all falling apart, so everyone's exiting them and coming here to live in this beautiful town. So but there's no infrastructure to handle the traffic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like bumper to bumper on the way to school in tiny Franklin. And it took me forever to get to school. And then by the time I was coming home, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. This is happening. It was sudden. It was a burst. And then I go, I don't know if I'm going to make it home. So I'm like driving while crossing my legs. Yeah, it was instant and it was huge. And suddenly I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And by holding it in, I was in excruciating pain. Like up my back. I started feeling pain up my back. And I was just like wretched in the car and like, oh, mama, and like sweating. And my first thought as I went home is, this is like torture to me.
Yeah.
And this is the most pain I've experienced, physical pain I've experienced in a long time.
Wrenching bowels.
And I started thinking of like in the early church when like people were like skinned alive.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fathom that amount of pain coming home. And I did make it home and I was like, oh, mama. So I did successfully get home, but the pain was troubling to me, and I realized my lack of ability to handle suffering and pain.
Well, I'm congratulate you on making it through it. Sorry, I've got my daughter she's talking to me standing directly behind my head, so I can't actually see her or hear her. Well, let me get this figured out. I can edit this out.
Yeah, tell her it's time to ignore her.
Okay, well,
so close.
All right,
close
we're back
calls.
to close calls. Okay, so I have one. So I had this girl who I can't remember if I told this story. This girl that I was really interested in high school, I just suddenly got this like urge to ask her out to a dance one day. And so I just did. And she said yes. I was shocked. So we almost dated. And when I went to meet her dad, though, he asked me if I knew anything about chainsaws. Did I tell about this? Do you remember?
No, I haven't heard this detail anyway.
So that was like his initial question to me as the father of this girl.
Do you know anything about chainsaws?
He goes, what do you know about chainsaws, Ethan? And I'm like, I'm raised by my mom. We have like an electric chainsaw, I think, to cut, limbs off of brush or whatever. So I have used it, but I'm like, I don't know. We have a yellow one. That was like my answer. And he just like,
oh, very good.
Crestfallen, just kind of sunk like, nope. You may not you may not date my daughter. I didn't know enough about chainsaws.
That's a correct answer, by the way. I'm on his side.
Well, the funny thing is that my friend, who was not as good of a guy to probably be dating his daughter, especially with the values.
He happened to have invented a chainsaw.
He grew up on a farm, so he knew about all these chainsaws.
Yeah, his name was Bill Cosby.
Yeah, and so they ended up dating later. And then the dad liked him because he knew about chainsaws. Anyway,
and it all crashed and burned. So you happy now?
That's a side fact to this. But this girl, I think we were talking about. So we ended up parking the car and trying to have this conversation. Like, we're both very committed to our faith, but in high school, we're like in high school, and like, very. We were both. What's the right word? Conflicted, I guess, about what to do because her parents didn't want us to date. And it was over something so stupid that I didn't know about chainsaws.
We
really wanted to. And so we had this really long conversation in my parked car. Right.
About chainsaws?
About how we wanted to date, but we weren't sure what to, if we should just obey our parents because that's what the Bible would say. Yeah. And it was like this conversation that we knew once it ended, we probably were going to go with what the Bible says and obey, and neither of us really wanted that, but we knew we probably should, and so the conversation went on and on. I had to pee so bad. From the beginning of the conversation, I had to pee so bad.
Yeah. Now it just got interesting. So now it just got ethical.
The entire time. And then I started wanting to rush it along, and like I kind of just knew we were probably not going to date
let's
now.
Wrap this up.
Like, all right.
Let's wrap this up. And she's all, no, let me tell you.
I really want to date. Like, I like you a lot, and I'm like, I like you too, but
you're going, we got to wrap this up. And she's going, let me tell you about the history of the United States of America. It all started.
So this is the first time I remember when it was finally over, she got out of the car to say goodbye, and I sped to a gas station because I was trying to find somewhere to go pee. And on the way, as I pulled into the gas station, from holding it for so long and so hard, I got this wrenching cramp feeling I'd never felt in my life. It was the worst pain. It was like, it felt like death twist. Like,
this is before the age of water bottles, because if you had a water bottle laying around, you could have pulled that off.
Yeah, we used to do that in the band.
Yeah.
We had water bottles all over the van full of pee. And then one night, Anthony, in the dark, he just picks up his water to drink, and he goes, and he got in the wrong bottle. And he just stops the van. He's screaming. He's like, it's so salty.
Hey, apparently Anthony, we've all been there. We've all been there, brother.
Anthony used to carry this jug. He called it the, what did he call that jug? I think he just called it the piss jug. But he had different people.
That was creative.
He had different people pee into this jug. And he claimed that if you peed into it, then it couldn't be used on you in some kind of prank. I never peed into it, but it was... So
you were able to use it in a prank?
I think they just knew never to do it to me. He never did use it on anybody. I think it was just... He's weird. But it was really fascinating and disgusting to see what happens to a giant jar of mixed urine over a series of like months.
This is terrible.
Because it went from being a yellow, gold...
Yeah.
To it turns into a perfect half and half mixture of like a white foamy, like white cream and a black liquid.
Yeah, the cream floats to the top.
Yeah. So it's like this creamy top layer and then this black liquid on the bottom. So nasty. Ugh.
That's cancer in a bottle. This was a cheery, funny conversation right up until you mentioned the separation in the bottle. This crossed a line. That's the line crosser on the show.
Even urine is racist.
Yeah, even it
separating the black from the white. Yep.
Segregated. Mm-hmm. And on that note, this is Audio Mullet.
Audio Mullet, a mullet of audio smashing you in the face. Audio Mullet, short in front, long in back. It's a fact. It's the Audio Mullet.
Recording.
Me too. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, don't look or listen to me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, sorry, that was weird. Your voice.
Ready?
The Skype, it made your voice go. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.